Good morning, this is Esther with ABC Schooling. I'll be going over the air brake inspection on the automatic truck. I'm going to go ahead and get started with my safe start. First, I'm going to check that my truck is in neutral. Both brakes are applied. I'm going to turn the key on. My ABS light turned on and turned off, indicating it's working properly. Now that the needle stabilized, I'm going to turn on my engine. I have a primary and secondary air gauge. I'll be using the primary air gauge for the purpose of this test. I'm going to get started with my first test, my cutout. It should happen at no less than 120 psi and no more than 140 psi. I'm going to go ahead and help the air pressure build faster by pressing my accelerator at about 10 RPMs.
And just watch the needle rise right there.
Alright, my needle stopped rising at 130 psi, which is a good test because it happened at no less than 120 and no more than 140. Now that I'm at max pressure, I'm going to move on to my 460 applied pressure test, where I should lose no more than 4 psi in 60 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and start by releasing my spring brakes. You'll notice when you release your spring brakes, the air pressure will drop. You're going to press your brake 2 times, get it under the 100, and then press your accelerator again to 10 RPMs to help the air pressure build. My needle stopped rising, so I'm back at max pressure. I'm going to go ahead and shut off the engine, then turn my key back on, only to accessory mode. I'm going to continue with my 460 applied pressure test, where I should lose no more than 4 psi in 60 seconds. I'm going to press and hold my brake all the way to the floor. You're going to notice that the needle dropped to 115 psi. My minute starts now. Make sure you're keeping an eye on the needle, because you want to make sure that it actually doesn't drop more than 4 psi in 60 seconds. If it were to drop, you want to go ahead and let the instructor know that it was a bad test and conclude the test at that point. If it doesn't drop, then just continue as normal. Alright, my minute has concluded. I am still at 115 psi, which is a good test because I lost no more than 4 psi in 60 seconds. Now I can release my brake. Once you're done with your 460, you're going to move on to the low air warning test, where a light and buzzer should come on at no less than 55 psi. I'm going to start by fanning my brake. You're going to see that alarm and buzzer turned on, but if you notice, the needle will stabilize and go a little higher. So I want to press it one more time. And my light and buzzard, low air warning light and buzzard, came on at around 65 psi, which is a good test because it happened at no less than 55 psi. I'm going to move on to my pop out test, where my spring brake should pop out at no less than 20 psi. We're going to go ahead and keep fanning the brake until we see the brakes pop out. we see our brakes both popped out at the same time, so you're going to give them one reading. They popped out at 24 psi, which is a good test because it happened at no less than 20 psi and no more than 45 psi. That concludes my air brake inspection. At this time, you want to turn the key off, then safe start your vehicle once again. Check your truck is in neutral, check the brakes are applied, turn the key on, and get started with your in-cab inspection. We saw that the amber DEF and fuel light came on and turned off, indicating it's working properly. Ignite that engine, and while the air pressure builds back up to max pressure, we're going to go over the in-cab inspection.